channel.
YouTube. So, all right. So, welcome to
Thank God for Andrea.
Oh, Andrea, thank you. So this is our September Women's Empowerment Workshop for Women on the Move Network, and we are very pleased that Jan Chase and Roberta Perlman have joined us with an extremely interesting workshop preview, because they will not be giving their full workshop, but their preview of their sky breathing workshop, which is designed to help with stress and a number of other difficulties and help people on their life path. So Jan, of course, we have known for a long, long time. She's been our friend in many of our the things that we wear hats for. And actually, Roberta, I've known your name for many, many years because I used to teach in Pomona.
Oh my gosh.
But I don't know that we've ever met. So I'm happy to see your face and get to know you, and I'm happy to have you with us. And
thank you for the years you put into our children. It makes such a huge difference, and sometimes teachers and educators don't realize, and staff members don't realize the difference it makes. So
yeah. Well, I was happy to be able to do it. I was teaching kindergarten at Kingsley, and it was a bilingual kindergarten when we were able to do that, and then it wasn't when we couldn't. And I also did reading recovery with a partner, and it was a good experience, and I was very happy to be there. So now we have Mila joining us, and I'm sure that we will have some more people coming, but we want to get started to make the best of our time with Roberta and Jan. So
hello everyone.
Hi Mila, good to see you. I don't know, Jan, are you starting or is Roberta?
Starting.
Okay.
I am starting, and I'll just introduce myself and Roberta, and then I'd like for you guys to introduce yourselves.
Okay.
So I'm Jan Chase. I'm the minister of Unity Church of Pomona. I am an interfaith friend of the Baha'i and have been for many, many, many years. And as you said, have done many things with you guys. I'm also the convener of Compassionate Pomona, which got very involved in this sky breathing work. And so we're going to give you a little taste of it and a little bit of experiential, as well as just talk about how that may have affected our lives. And so I want to introduce my friend Roberta Perlman, who is the president of our Pomona, or the vice president now, upcoming president to be, of our school board. And she is an optometrist in Chino. She has championed sky breathwork courses through our Pomona school district for over 10 years. She's been really, I've only been involved about 2 years, but she's been involved for a very long time. And she has had courses for students, parents, teachers, administrators, etc., through the school district. And she and I have been training to be teachers. So you guys are some of our first guinea pigs today. So thank you for that. We're student teachers, right? So please forgive anything that doesn't feel real smooth, because we're working on it. You guys are women on the move. I'm delighted to meet you. I want to hear a little bit about you. And so I'd like for you to introduce yourselves to us and to give us a one-word description of a main goal that you have in your life. So, Barbara, do you want to start?
All right, I'll start. I'm Barbara Marino. I'm a member of the board of directors of Women on the Move Network, the sponsoring organization for this Women's Empowerment Workshop. We are an organization that has been in existence for almost 20 years now. And our main activities are designed to promote and support equal opportunities and opportunities for women and girls. this workshop is one of our activities, and our flagship program is an after-school program for girls at several local schools. The program is called Who's Your Hero? We call it that because we want the girls to understand that they can be the heroes of their own lives. And other than that, as you heard earlier, I'm an educator by profession. I'm retired from classroom teaching. I now supervise student teachers. So if you're doing student teaching now, you're right in the right place. I supervise student teachers at the University of Laverne. And that's it. A goal in my life. Well, at this advanced age, my goal is just to keep going, And I have a secondary goal right now to become more active, because during the pandemic, I've been kind of hibernating. And so I need to get out and move more. But other than that, I'm just putting one foot in front of the other.
Thank you, Barbara. Diane, do you want to go next?
Sure. My name is Diane Gunther. I am also on the board for Women on the Move Network, and I'm a member of the Baha'i community in Rancho Cucamonga. I'm part of the Healthy Rancho Cucamonga, and also part of the compassionate community in Rancho Cucamonga.
Me too.
And so, yeah, so is Barbara. Yeah, and she's part of the Baha'i community too. And I am my kid's grandma. So I do grandma duty 2 or 3 days a week with my older daughter and her husband, and they're 3. They're 15 to almost 7, 15, almost 13 and almost 7. So I do a lot of community service, and in one word, what I want to do is, and we're doing it toward oneness, the Baha'i community. It's a dialogue on bringing down the barriers of prejudice and racism. I want oneness across the board, not sameness, but oneness.
Thank you very much, Roberta. Will you check in?
Okay, I'm Roberta Perlman. I'm Vice President of the School Board, Pomona Unified. I'm also an optometrist, as Jen said. And I started, with the Sky Breathing program quite a few years ago. And we brought it to the students first, then we expanded it to teachers and administrators and parents. And our goal is to have a peaceful, calm community where we have compassion, we are one, and we can always find that place of calm when things sometimes feel chaotic, as they have this past year and a half, right? So that's it for me, Jen. Thank you.
Thank you. Is it Mila or Milia or?
Mila.
Mila. Thank
Yes,
you.
it's Mila.
Mila. Thank you.
Sure. So my name is Mila Afshar. I'm a law graduate, and I work with Miss Azizi at the law office of Sahela Azizi and Associates. And I was fortunate to get to know Women on the Move about a year ago, and I'm a member now. And as far as my goal in life, well, I'm a firm believer that every one of us come to this world to play a very specific role. And my goal is to play my role and play it beautifully. And with Women on the Move, I have this passion to support and promote other women and girls. And I believe that we have to lift each other up to make this world a better place.
Awesome. Is it Edie?
Yes, it is. I met you. I came to your church.
I remember that. I remember
Yeah.
that.
I was a Unity student before I became a Baha'i many, many, many years ago.
That's right.
And right. I've been involved in Women on the Move kind of from the outskirts from the beginning, and enjoyed the goal of working with the little ones, the young girls, because I believe just as they did, the reason they started it was to work on their choices very young. So I had my own experiences like that as a young person. And if I hadn't had the Unity writings, I wouldn't have made it. I would have gone off in the wrong direction. So I'm grateful to my mother for that. But I serve the faith. I serve the Baha'i faith as whatever way I can, because like Barbara, I'm getting up there, but I'm not there yet. And I do have a concern about having enough energy every day. And so I've been kind of interested in the breathing techniques too, because I know that can give you the energy. And interest I've always had is in young children learning. Little sponges learning, whatever you feed them is really, really, really important. And my main goal in life is to unify the world, just a little thing like that. And so
Beautiful.
that's why I'm also involved in the Toward Oneness. That's my favorite thing to be involved in. And like, I was looking at things that Diane posts on Facebook, and I thought, you know, she might as well be your twin. Because I'm looking at all the stuff she posts, and it's stuff I post, you know, in the direction toward oneness. So
There's a lot of similarities.
Yeah.
Thank you, Edie. I appreciate.
Sure.
Andrea, you're next on my screen.
Okay. Hi, everybody. My name is Andrea. I wear many hats. I help women on the move with various tasks. My true goal, I guess, I love being involved in all things women empowerment and all things just empowerment in general. I also have 4 children. So the minds molding, the raising young girls to be the strong women that we need for our future is also the drive that I have to push myself to be involved in various things like this and to learn as much as I can and surround myself with powerful women who are that influence to me. Let's see, I don't know, I'm 34. I don't know, I just, I'm happy to be here.
Wonderful, thank you. And Layla, or is it Layla? Lay? Lila? Would you introduce yourself?
Yes, hi. So my name is Lyle Piritian. I am a physician. I'm also a board member of Women on the Move organization network. And, you know, my goal, and I love being part of Women on the Move, and I think women empowerment is extremely important. And we need to start from a young age, of course. And I think what Women on the Move does, it's extremely important for the future generations. But my personal goal is that eventually when I retire, I feel that, you know, I would like to also take part in something related to the overall health of the community. Because I think if you don't have health and you have a lot of medical problems and you're not taking care of yourself, you know, then everything else really doesn't matter to you. You know, so if you are healthy and you have healthy body, you have healthy mind. And when you have healthy mind, you are open to more, you know, around you. And that's my goal.
Thank you so much. I appreciate that, Lila. We have someone with the name Sylvester Scott. I'm not sure, you're not quite a Sylvester, probably. Do you want to introduce yourself?
Sorry, my computer died today, so I'm on my husband's. I'm Barbara Scott.
Barbara. So the question is just introduce yourself and do you have in one word, a goal in your life?
Yes, my name is Barbara Scott. I have been involved with Women on the Move Network for many, many years. And my goal at this point in my life is to make the most of my retirement. This is my final chapter, so I'm doing what I want to do the way I want to do it.
Yeah, awesome. Is there anybody that I've missed? I think I have everybody on my screen has spoken, right? Okay, so I have another question for you, and I know time, I think we have to be done by 5, is that right? I mean, by 6?
Yeah.
6 or a little after, 6:15 maybe.
So we have a lot to go through, so I don't want to feel like we're pushing you, but if we can keep our answers fairly short. There are things that you guys have talked about, amazing goals, and there are things that sometimes block our progress or delay our journey towards our goal. And so do you have an idea of some of those things that might block your goal?
Inertia.
Inertia. Yeah.
Lack of health.
Health.
Attitude.
Okay.
Stress.
Yeah.
Just lack of motivation sometimes.
Lack of motivation.
Impatience.
Impatience.
I want
Sure.
it done yesterday.
Yes, exactly. And welcome, Sohaila. Welcome.
Oh, hi. I'm sorry. Let me see. I'm going to be sitting in the car and driving home. I was stuck at a deadline at work. So
Okay.
I'm so sorry. I just didn't want to miss this. So I may be just not putting my sound on either.
Okay.
But as soon as I get home, I'll do it. I'm so glad Andrea got in and is recording. But
Amen.
Yes. Thank
Yes.
goodness for Andrea.
So thank you all. So do you think that focusing our attention on complaining about what blocks our goals is a good thing?
No.
No. But sometimes we get into blaming and complaining, don't we? Anyway, I do. If something's blocking my goal, I want to make it somebody else's fault, right? And so we can see that that might not be the healthiest thing for us to do or really help us get to where we really want to go. So I want you to close your eyes and think about what things in life you're grateful for. So just take a moment, take a deep breath in, close your eyes, and think about your gratitude. And notice, open your eyes when you're ready. When you focus on gratitude, how do you feel?
Glad.
Uplifted.
Uplifted. Other experiences?
Relaxed, happy.
Relaxed.
Thankful.
Thankful.
I feel connected.
connected. I feel empowered when I am in that space of mindset of gratitude. Anything else? There's probably lots of things if we think about it, right?
I think, does everybody feel optimistic? Kind of optimistic when you're thinking about what you're grateful for?
Well, when I think about the things I'm grateful for, I just recognize how lucky I am that I have those things. I'm really fortunate, and how it made all the difference. The two things that I'm primarily most grateful for, what a difference they made in my life path.
Sometimes I feel a little guilty that I feel so blessed, and so many people have, you know, such hardships, and I know that we all have our own path, and so, you know, for whatever reason, but sometimes I feel I feel a little guilty.
Discord.
You're very compassionate, God is good. Right? You're very compassionate. You feel the suffering
God
of
is good.
Yeah.
I'm an empath. Empathic. Yeah, I am.
God is good. Excuse me, I have an alarm going off at my church. Roberta, can you take
Oh,
over?
my goodness.
I sure will.
Yes.
I sure will. Okay, so now let's take a moment and think about two things that we chronically complain about but never seem to get better.
You wanted us to give short answers?
Right. So think about two things that you chronically complain about. Just close your eyes for a moment and think about those things. So let's open our eyes, because we could close our eyes, keep our eyes closed all day thinking about this stuff, right? But how does complaining make you feel?
Frustrated, for one.
Cranky.
Frustrated, cranky, absolutely.
I'm getting a headache.
I would say powerless.
Powerless, absolutely.
It makes you feel worse than you started.
Yeah, we have another friend joining us who doesn't want to be seen because she's having a very late lunch. But she just said it makes you feel worse than you were when you started.
No, that's right. That's right. That's right.
That's Maria, who just is
Maria.
Sitting in the doorway.
Does it make you feel kind of like a victim? Like,
yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
But you know, okay, so from my perspective now, at this time of my life, when I'm complaining, ranting and raving and carrying on, underneath it all, I know that A, it's counterproductive. B, I'm wasting my time. C, it makes me feel temporarily better, and that I'll get over it.
Beautiful. And can I jump in here, because I added a point here, Roberta, from what we talked about this morning, and that is, how does our body feel when we feel stuck, powerless, and when we're complaining? What happens to our physiology?
Feel like a slug.
Yeah.
So the energy.
It drains the energy.
It puts tension in our muscles. I learned something on one of the Healthy RC meetings. There's a he's not a life coach, but he does breathing, and he does, I guess he's kind of like a life coach, but he made a comment that when we breathe from up here, that's survival breathing. well, we need to breathe it from down below. And he actually said that survival breathing leads to really, really tense neck muscles. Yeah, it does. I know. and I've been trying to breathe properly, and the pain that I was having in my neck is gotten better.
Wow. Okay. So where would we rather put our attention, or where would we rather like to spend our time and energy? In the complaining side of life or in the grateful side of life?
No,
Of course.
no, there's no question.
Or thinking about solutions.
So, oh my God, that would take discipline.
Maria said we should be thinking about solutions.
Solutions rather than problems?
Solutions rather than problems or complaints.
Yeah.
Or else just realizing that the only control that we have is over ourselves. And if, maybe there might not be a solution. Hopefully there will be, and you can find something, but sometimes you just gotta just let it go.
So you guys are very astute, and I'm not surprised, because you've been doing this kind of work. So here are some pictures of crossroads. There's a number of them here, but imagine that you're walking. Can you see my picture?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
So imagine that you're walking down a road and you come to a challenging situation, and you can turn left or you can turn right. You can go in the direction of complaining, and if you see this picture, there's all these dark clouds on kind of more on one side than the other. Or you can go the other direction where you're doing kind of what is it Marie said, going into looking at solutions, going into action, taking responsibility. So which way how are you going to feel if you go in the complaining direction?
Worse.
Nothing's gonna get better.
That's right. So you'll be stuck. You'll never progress forward.
Have we found that complaining gets us anywhere?
Oh,
Not for long, right?
well, for me, it's only me I complain to.
Yeah.
Because I know I'm responsible. The power is between me and God.
That's
What's
right.
my problem?
Yeah. And so we don't want to feel powerless. We don't want to feel stuck. We don't want to be the victim, because we know spiritually we are not, right? Spiritually, there's a lot of power in us. And so we can turn the other direction. And in that other direction, we are taking action. We are being responsible. And we are moving then towards our goals. We're able to then make that shift. And so turning right. So I invite you to take a minute and close your eyes again. And to imagine a time when you took responsibility and action to move forward to achieve a goal. Just let your breath take you deep in. And when you're ready, open your eyes. And I'll invite two people to share about a situation that you took responsibility for instead of just complaining about it. Anybody volunteering? I'm having trouble seeing everybody's hands, so just jump in. Anybody?
Well, this is Sylvester Scott.
Hi. Hi, and it's Barbara, right?
Yeah,
Okay.
thank you. Actually, this just happened before I got on the Zoom call. And I think it's rather odd. I am still thinking about it. So I belong to a community-based nonprofit, and I'm serving on the nominations committee to name our officers for the new year, which we typically vote for in the spring, but this year, because of the pandemic, it got passed to the fall, and now we're still trying to get it done. So I saw some emails going around regarding the upcoming meeting about the election, and I saw some things that didn't make sense, that weren't the way we do it. I was kind of aggravated with my other members of the nominating committee. So I just grabbed the phone and said, let me just call him and find out what's going on. So I picked up the phone, and just immediately he said hi, and I immediately started talking and got up, and I knew his voice was gravelly, and I thought, oh God, maybe he's sick. So I said, are you okay? Are you sick? He said, I just found out my brother passed. So I don't know why I was meant to call him, other than it gave me an opportunity to express condolences and to have a moment to make a really strong human connection, to make him feel better. Actually, when we hung up, he was laughing. But we did manage to get the situation resolved. I felt empowered, and we chatted briefly about a couple of other things. So it's kind of odd. I'm still thinking about it and what that was all about. But I think to answer your question directly, it's like, when you just handle the situation, you feel empowered, it's done, you check it off the list, you can move on.
Beautiful. Thank you so much for sharing that very touching moment. Does anyone else have a sharing? A time you took responsibility for something instead of complaining?
Well, I'm going to share some. This is Mari. I'm here. So I wanted to share something. I had summer plans with my children, and they're young adults, youth, and they I'm divorced, so they live most of the time with their dad. And so with Zoom classes right now, they don't have to get up early, right? So their biological clock is like, they get up very late. So, and I'm early, I get up very early. So I had my whole schedule, set up for vacation. We went on vacation to Zion and to Bryce Canyon. So my plan was to get up very early and go hiking, right? And go to two or three different places. Well, guess what? They will get up at 12 noon or 1 o'clock in the afternoon. And the first day I said, okay, that's fine, and then the second day I'm like, oh. So I took deep breaths and I said, okay, so plan B is not going to work because I had a second car. The second car disappeared. It broke down. So we had no second car to leave, and they can go on their own afterwards. So I said, okay, so I'm just going to have to adjust to the situation. So I'll try to get up late, and then we can do late hiking, right? So by the third day, I discovered that when you start hiking like at 3 or 4 o'clock in the afternoon, it's actually really nice because the sun is already, it's not as hot, and you get done like at 8 o'clock or 9 o'clock, in summer nights are beautiful. You see the sunset, and I'm like, oh, okay. So I would have known this if I would have taken that attitude, right? So the whole week, it was, at the end, it was fine. We started our hikes instead of 5 o'clock in the morning, how I usually do them. We started hiking at 3 o'clock in the afternoon. So that's
You could have just kept complaining about it, but where would it have gotten you, right?
Yeah, it would have just
That's
caused a lot of
That's
dissension.
right. That's right.
Beautiful. Thank you. So when we take responsibility, it feels good, right? It moves us forward in the direction that we want to go. We're no longer stuck. And so if we're stressed, which direction do we go often? We take in the road to if we're stressed, do we take the complaining road, or do we often take the responsibility and action road?
The complaining road.
I think most of us do, because we're not able to think very clearly, right? We just go automatic pilot into complaining. And so when we get to this point and we see this situation and we have a choice right here, right? Which way we go. And we're going to make the better choice the less stress we're feeling. Does that make sense? Okay. So to make the right choice, we need awareness at this point. We need to be aware that we're at a choice position and that we can go left into complaining or right into taking responsibility and taking action. And not then going into being stuck, going round and round and round and round in that same old complaining mode. I'm going to turn it over to Roberta in a minute. There is, let me find.
Let's go to the victory breath, Jan.
Oh, okay. So the serenity prayer is what I was bringing up, but you probably all know this. It's God grant me the serenity to accept the things I cannot change, the courage to change the things I can, and the wisdom to know
the difference.
So victory breath. This is, we teach in sky breathing a whole lot of different types of breath work. Some of them are slow, some of them are fast, some of them are with movement, some of them are sitting very quietly. But the one that I like to teach and that I feel is the most important is one that literally shifts our physiology from the stress response of fight and flight and freeze into the relaxation, rest, and digest response. It just like when we were talking about how we feel when we're stressed and how our breath changes, often into that shallow breathing. As we breathe and change our breathing, we can adjust our stress. It can take us out of that stress. So I'm going to invite you to whisper, like you're whispering across the room to someone, the word hello. So you go like, and then without saying the words, but pushing the air, you might notice your throat is slightly tight and you're pushing the air from the back of your throat. And you feel a slight tightness there. And now breathe in and out through your mouth. And then closing your mouth, breathing from that back of your throat through your nose. Inhale and exhale. And I invite you to close your eyes and do this for a minute. Slowly and deeply. Gently pushing the air, filling up your lungs. and then totally emptying them with each breath. Not too fast. And then go back to normal breathing. And notice the difference. And then go back to what is called victory breath. It is a victory over stress. So let us go back to that, breathing from the back of our throat, gently. It's almost like a gentle snore. Slowly, deeply. Letting your breath massage your vagus nerve that is in your throat. And then back to regular breath. And one more time to victory breath, noticing the difference. You might notice this is the kind of breathing that sometimes happens right before you fall asleep. And then back to normal breath. Open your eyes and let me know how you feel.
Like I want to go to sleep.
Yes.
Relax.
Very relaxing.
You better
Jan,
check on Sohaila in that car.
I was gonna say, I did everything you said except for my closing my eyes because I was on the freeway.
Yeah.
And I
Okay.
tried it for a second, but even then I felt that I was falling asleep because it was so relaxing. And I honestly could not tell the difference between the victory breath or the regular breathing because I missed the first few minutes of your talk.
Okay.
But altogether, it was very relaxing. And I felt like there was oxygen going to my brain, which all day long with my stressed out day, I couldn't really feed it with oxygen. So it felt wonderful. Thank you.
Great. So I'm going to turn it over to Roberta, who is going to talk about the science of breath, why this makes a difference. Roberta, go for it.
Thanks, Jan. So because I'm in the science field and Jan comes from science also, so when we first learned about this, we just thought, what is behind this whole thing? So we kind of added this thing in a little bit later. They added it to the program, and it's just really, I think, important for you to understand what's going on scientifically. So how does the practice of breath affect our stress levels and emotions? I don't know if you can bring up the.
I've got it. You want me to share it?
Oh, please. That's good. Thanks, Jan.
Is that what you want?
Yeah, that's perfect. Let's talk about two parts of the brain that play an interrelated role in our response to stress. There's the prefrontal cortex. That's the area that's the amygdala right there, but that's the prefrontal cortex right behind the forehead here. And very deep in the brain is the amygdala. And the amygdala is called the reptile or lizard brain, and it's responsible for fight, flight, and freeze responses. When you're chased by a bear, your response is immediate. What do? You run, okay? But have you ever been making a speech and completely forgot what you were supposed to say? Okay, I have.
Yeah.
So your amygdala is also responsible for that freeze response. Alternatively, the prefrontal cortex, that larger area there in the forehead area, is responsible for your feeling of calm, your clear reasoning, your decision-making, problem-solving, self-control. So when you're under chronic stress, as many of us are, and particularly over this last year or so, the amygdala signals the continual release of this stress hormone called cortisol. This cortisol floods the prefrontal cortex. And so it negatively affects your ability to learn and reason and maintain a state of calm. So you can see how that cortisol flooding the prefrontal cortex is really detrimental to our mental health. So what happens? The amygdala takes control. So when the amygdala is controlled, you're not thinking clearly, okay? You are in a constant state of fight or flight. Do you think this wreaks havoc on our mental and physical health?
Yeah.
It definitely does. The fight, flight, and freeze response is supposed to be activated 1% of the time. In most of our lives, it's activated at least 50% of the time. So does that affect our ability to stay calm, stay healthy, and think clearly? Definitely. And how much physical illness in this country do you think is related to chronic stress? Let me get some answers.
A lot.
Oh, I've heard over 90%, but it's certainly at least over 85% of physical illness is related to chronic stress.
I believe that.
I do.
And do you know think about how easily you get sick when you're stressed out, right? So, so practicing these breathing techniques is proven to lower your cortisol levels, okay? It's proven, we know that for a fact. And it allows the prefrontal cortex to do the work it's meant to do, to affect your feeling of calm, well-being, improve your learning and reasoning and decision-making, of course, your overall health. The victory breath that we just did is particularly interesting because it stimulates this vagus nerve. The vagus nerve goes from the brain all the way down to our gut. And when you stimulate the vagus nerve in the back of the throat, that vagus nerve sends relaxation signals that clears the cortisol out of the prefrontal cortex, okay? So this allows the prefrontal cortex, again, to function. So by using doing this victory breath on a regular basis, okay, your vagal tone, you've heard of vagal tone, it gets stronger, okay? And then you're just calmer all the time, okay? Once that vagal tone gets stronger. So practicing this victory breath, it's not just something you do now and then when you're getting stressed out, but it's something you need to do every single day as part of a breathing practice. And it will definitely help you think more clearly and keep your state of calm. So the nice thing about breath is that it's with us all the time, okay? We don't need any special things it's with us all the time. So just like what you were driving and you started taking deep breaths, you started feeling better. I use it all the time. In school board meetings, I really need it. Because people accuse us of all kinds of things, okay? So sometimes just taking those deep breaths, and nobody has to see it and nobody has to hear it, you can use it anytime. That's the way you will always find your place of peace and calm. Jan, if you don't mind, I know we talked about going on a certain kind of schedule as we were doing this. Could I just talk about hurricane really quickly? I need to leave because unfortunately I have another meeting following this. So I won't be able to stay till 6. I can stay till 6, but not longer than that. It may go a little bit late. So do you mind if I go ahead and just talk about hurricane quickly?
Right. I didn't pull hurricane up. Do you have it?
Okay. Yeah, I'll bring it up. I mean, if you want.
Or I can look for it, but.
Okay. I could bring it up, but then can I share my screen?
Yeah.
Perfect. Let's see here.
Dr. Farmer.
Okay. Does everybody see the hurricane?
Yes.
Okay, perfect. So let me just make it. Okay, so we frequently when we're talking to our, we live in Pomona has some challenges, and when, as you probably know, our students live with a lot of stress, and our parents, and particularly this year has been it's just been terrible for our children and our families, and for our educators and for our administrators. I mean, it's been a very, very stressful time. And so when we look at this picture of the hurricane, it kind of reminds us of how chaotic sometimes life can get. It can just feel like things are spiraling out of control, and particularly for our children who they don't understand what's going on. Their lives have been completely changed, turned upside down. And as you are educators know, children like routine. And when everything changed, it really put a lot of stress on our families. And it happened to all of us. It wasn't only in education. So when we feel our lives are getting out of control and very chaotic, we can think of it kind of like a hurricane. There's a lot of destruction, a lot of drama. Things are just spiraling out of control. But we always have to remember, can you see the eye of the storm here? Can you see the eye of the storm? In that eye of the storm, in the middle of every storm, there is a calm. There always is a place of calm. We have that in ourselves, inside us. We have that place of calm. We all have it. We just have to know how to access it. So through the breath, we can find that eye of the storm when things feel like they're spiraling out of control. And I love this visual because I think of it a lot when I feel sometimes, your brain almost gets jumpy or there's so much going on. And I just say, let me go into a victory breath or go into some of my breathing and find that place of peace. And I can always find it. I can always find it. So I encourage you to look at this visual, and I think it's beautiful to help us understand how we are carrying that in us all the time, and we have the choice to access it. So I think that's. Do you want to add anything to that, Jan?
No, I think you caught it. You hit it. And we all have storms in our lives. I mean, that's a part of being on Earth, I think. But we all have that center, and we can rest in that center. And the breath is one of the ways that can get us into that beautiful space.
Absolutely.
Thank you so much, Roberta, for coming on.
Thank you. I'll need to go, but I hope that you can join us when we have our more extensive course. This class is amazing, and I want all of you. I haven't known you too long, but in the short time I've known you in this last hour, it has been a complete pleasure and an honor to have been here with you. And I want you to benefit from this just the same way I have. This is self-care, and you know what we say, you have to put your own oxygen mask on before you can put somebody else's on. Okay, so this is not, we always say this isn't selfish. This is self-care for a reason, okay? So we can help others. So I'm gonna go off now, Janet.
Can you quit sharing your screen?
I will do that right now.
Okay, and Roberta and I are going to be teaching this with our teacher, and that is going to be coming up the 28th, 29th, and 30th of September. Bill Herman, what is his title, Roberta?
He's the international director of Sky Schools. So he's pretty amazing. And you're getting it from the, from the best.
And he is going around the world teaching this, and we are his students. Roberta and I started a class a year ago, and now we're moving on to the next level of teaching and learning, and learning how to now put what we learned into actual practice through working on this course. So everybody is invited. I do want to share a little bit of how I got into it. Roberta's been into it over 10 years with Dr. Pramila Agrawal brought it to the group. And I don't know if you guys know people that are suffering anxiety and depression, but she is a pediatrician that just retired last year. She was in town, but she was in depression, and she found sky breathing. And she found it took her out of her depression. Now that's a major health shift. And when I heard that, I was amazed. I first met her at a meeting that Roberta put together, which was in our mayor's office. And that meeting was with a commander of a Brazilian police force for a whole state in Brazil. And the Brazilian commander was there talking to our police, the head of our police, Pomona Police, about how when he had a heart attack and after he took on this huge position, he had 32,000 troops under him in a very violent area. He had a heart attack 2 weeks after he took it, and he thought he could not survive it with the tools he had. He asked for new tools, and somebody brought him this sky breathing, and he started using it, and he healed quickly from his heart attack. And he decided that if it was so good for him, it would be good for all of his police officers. And so he started training 1,000, the first year, 1,000 of his policemen. And at the beginning of each shift, they would do this series of breath work and relaxation. And what it does is it didn't put them to sleep, but it helped them have clear minds, so that in the stress of violence around them, that they could make clear decisions. And they would use this victory breath right there in the dangerous places to keep their brain clear, so that they weren't triggered into old responses. And 50% of the police shootings stopped of those officers. The domestic violence from the high stress of their jobs dropped. Police suicide dropped. So this commander was going around the United States talking to city police departments all over the US, helping them understand how this is life-saving, not only for the police, but for the communities as well. And it helped me. I was in on that meeting. I think God put me there, because I don't know how else I got invited. But so, just to see the power of this work in so many different ways. And so I just invite you, if you're interested in learning more about it. I think, how many times, Roberta, have you taken this beginning course?
15.
And I've taken it 8. For me,
you never get enough of it.
Because you go deeper each time you
That's
take
right.
it. You go deeper, you understand it more. And then there are other courses as well that fit in with it, that, there's meditation courses, there's silence courses, there's many different things that kind of you can add to the piece. But it all builds this amazing thing. I'm going to share my screen one last time to put here. So I think I sent you, and I can send it back. This is the course that's happening on September 28th, 9th, and 30th. We're giving Roberta is giving us a big discount. This course, usually it's $195 a piece. We give scholarships from when people ask for it, but this time we're giving a code for 145 off, so you pay $50 or you can get it for free. So if you want to do this, or you can pay the full price, you know, it's a good thing to support. And if people want to pay the full price, you can do that. But when you register, you go onto this tiny URL and put in your information. And if you want to use one of those codes, you put that in and you get the discount. And this talks about some of the stress relief and some of the benefits of taking it. So are there any comments or questions?
Well, we've had Sohaila join us, and we've had Dr. Faramazi join us while the meeting was going on. So maybe they would have questions or comments. Dr. Faramazi, is there something you would like to say or ask?
No, I just want to thank you and Roberta for presenting and informing us of this. I appreciate that, and I apologize. I was late. I had another commitment. The meeting took a little longer than expected. So I'm sorry that I could not join and I missed that. But
there's a recording. I think there's a recording.
We recorded it, so you will be able to access it on our Women on the Move YouTube channel very shortly. But we are delighted that you joined us today, even for this little bit.
No, it's my pleasure. Thank you.
Well, it's great to see everyone now that I'm sitting down and able to just maybe practice my breathing a little bit better. But just want to say thank you to Jan. This is wonderful. But I do have a question about how we can create a 10-minute, maybe it is the mediation component, but a 10-minute within the patients and the attention span of 10-year-olds, 9-year-olds, you know, our audience with the girls empowerment programs. How could we go around with our younger populations and just teach them how to do this so that they could be at peace? Yeah.
Well, you can always teach what I just taught. There's so many breaths and there's so many programs, and I would recommend it. Some of you take this. This is the very beginning course. Then Roberta and I are training for part 2. There's a course that comes after this for Sky Schools.
Nice.
There's also training for children's courses for early kids and for schools. So that's another piece. There's breathing. There's a bee breathing that you put your. I'm not going to tell you all about it now, but it's very fun, and you can get the kids. It kind of clears the head, and you make a buzzing sound with your voice. There's all different kinds. There's breathing to get energy by moving your arms up and down. A lot of these, some of these will be taught. We will be teaching at the end of the month in that course. Some of them are later, and but for kids. Absolutely, Sohaila. I think it's a critical thing to give kids tools for life and how to manage stress, and is one of those very critical tools. So,
thank you. I think we're going to make Women on the Move Network sponsor 1 or 2 people to go attend to this course to help everybody. And then maybe we will incorporate it to one of our lesson plans or part of the curriculum, and anyone can benefit from that.
And they're starting
awesome.
a teacher training. So if anybody takes it and loves it, it might be the perfect time to get into the fall teacher training if you want to do what Roberta and I have been doing the last year.
Jan, what if you can't do every the 28th, 29th, and 30th, all evenings? Is that a problem?
It is a problem.
Yeah, so. Okay.
Yeah. But there are other courses. So I would recommend, I can I can help you maybe find some other courses that the timing might be better for you. Because they're taught all over the world.
Yeah.
And so they're taught all different kinds of times. But we had never done one in the evening, and we thought that this group might like an evening one because many of you work during the day. So Sohaila and I kind of came up with that timing.
Grandma duty goes on through the evening.
It goes on. Okay.
Yeah, through the evening it does.
But how about Jan? I know this is across the globe possibly, but by the time that the first group shows up on the first night, if some of them have the same issue that they may be not able to do the second day, or is it possible for the group to decide how many more days and how many more hours they would work around their schedules? Or is it set for the rest of the participants across the globe?
Well, I would direct you, and I can send you Bill Herman's contact information because he's the head of Sky Schools. We're just, beginning teachers. So I can't really make the rules, but we have had people like if you need to miss a little part of one day, or if you need to some people have missed one day and then made it up in another course. Is that what you're kind of talking about, Sohaila? So
I'm the kind of person who always finds a reason for people to participate as much as they can. And then, as you suggested, maybe they'll make up in another course.
Yeah.
Because every part of this is really educational and precious.
It is. It's life-changing. And I've been teaching stress reduction courses for over 40 years. When I found this, I found what seemed like the magic bullet, and I've done all different kinds of work, the Symington work with cancer, all different kinds of mindfulness work, and it's all good. But this combines so many different things. And as you can see, some of these processes are working with the head. And as Baha'is, I know and I don't know if all of you are Baha'i, but the thinking is the way we think and use our mind is very important to our stress levels. And so learning to use our minds in a way that works for us, not against us, because our minds can go anywhere and take us into crazy thinking and a lot of stress. So, yeah. So there's a lot of more to this than what we've shown you, but we've just given you a couple of points.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Well, we do thank you very, very much because this is interesting, I think, to all of us. And I think we can all see possibilities given our particular situations. I agree with Sohaila that our work with young people is particularly a possibility for using. She's involved in one program and Diane and I are involved in another one, and they all have the same general goal, that to make the girls or the young people do better on their life path.
Yes.
And so yeah, we'll have to see what we can do to sort of make that happen.
And I would just invite you to turn within and ask your guidance, what is yours to do? Is it yours to take this and see what the answer is? For me, it was mine to take, but I didn't know how I'd possibly have time for it, but I try to say yes to my inner guidance. And so here I am. I keep saying yes. God directs, right?
Yeah.
And so it's not so much about what we think we can do, but just for me anyway.
Yeah, it's what we need to do. Yeah.
Yeah. So you guys are, thank you so much for letting us. So Hala, should I send you the flyer again to send out? This has the discount codes. I don't know if I sent.
We had one revision, but if you send one that doesn't have all the other stuff, whatever you want to promote from this point forward, then Angie and I will promote it on all of our social medias. Then Women on the Move could promote it on their social media. We could just, blast it out, see what we can do to get as much participation. Thank you. And maybe someday you'll devise a mini course for a 10-minute youth version of this, and you could sell it to us so we can incorporate it to our programs.
Yeah, well,
Yeah,
and you have, and that may have already been devised that I just am not aware of too.
Maybe we can talk to Dr. Herman about it.
Yeah, and I will send you Bill Herman's contact information as well. So that would be, and people that are interested in taking it, but for example, can't come one of the days, might be able to make it up at another time. But the way that it works is 3 consecutive days, because it's just the way the brain learns is repeating. And that way it kind of gets in here. That it becomes a part of who you are, and you're much more likely to use it and continue with it to do that. So,
and Jan, I have a personal question. Is that what has helped you, the 8 times repeat course in this sky breathing, that has helped you look younger and younger? And honest to God, you, from what, 20 some years that I've known you, God bless you, and knock on wood, you've just become more lively, more energetic. You take on doctorate courses. You become thinner and thinner by spreading yourself to things that you think you could do.
I wish the thinner was true. I don't know. It goes up, the weight goes up and down.
Yeah.
But
So
you're right, and I do attribute it to it because it's deeply spiritual. It has taken me into, and there's teachings and understandings about who we are as spiritual beings that are a part of the course and a part of the teaching. That, I mean, it every time you do the breath, you're pulling your what we call our true self, our spiritual self, up through all the different layers of our being, and they're all then energized. So there's all this healing that happens subconsciously, and I don't know that it's happening, but I can feel what you're talking about, the radiance, that comes, the healing that happens at every level of my being. So there's just deep wisdom in this.
Exactly. And I'm going to share with you, I'm going to send you a new compilation that has come out from the Baha'i International Community on the connection between spirituality and mental health. And you will be blown away with how these conversations that you're having with us and with this group, you could incorporate some of those writings and, maybe mix it with the science that Roberta was offering. But it's all fits right in. It's all with connecting us to that force around us and that energy that moves us.
And the thing I love about Baha'i is you guys are so connected to community. You're so, you want to raise everybody up, not just your own selves, but you understand how that works. And this work does that. So thank you so much.
I see Dr. Faramazi has raised his hand. Is that right?
No, I didn't. I'm just listening.
You didn't? There's a little hand right on your square. So
he may be applauding.
I just wanted to be sure that you weren't going to be overlooked. But anyway, I think our time has really come to an end, but we are so grateful to Jan and Roberta for bringing us this workshop and giving us the opportunity to learn about what they're doing. I think it has something special to say to each of us, depending on who we are and where we are on our life path. And we will appreciate, Jan, receiving any discount codes or whatever it is that you have that you can offer to us, and we will share them with the people on this call and others, many others as well. So
Thank you.
I
look forward to getting your thing, Sohaila. So we'll exchange information.
Yes,
Yes.
okay, absolutely.
And we invite all of you to join us next month in October for our next Women's Empowerment Workshop. They are always on the second Friday at 5 o'clock, and you will be receiving the beautiful flyers that Andrea makes for us, and we are so grateful to her for doing that.
Yes.
And we wish you all a good evening.
Thank you so much.
Yeah.
Enjoy your breath, and you should sleep better tonight, just from that tiny little breathing.
Very good. That would be great.
It's a good thing to do when you're wake up in the night and you can't go back to sleep. That's the
Okay.
trick.
Thank you,
Okay.
Jan.
Thank you very much.
Yes, thank you, Jan. Thank you,
Thank
everyone.
you. Love you all.
Thank you.
Good to
Bye-bye.
see you
Bye.
all.
Good
Bye-bye.
to see you,
Thank you.
Barbara.
Yeah, bye-bye.
Bye.